That's the help of that loop knot, that fixed loop knot that we tie the fly on with. That combined with a little bit of chop on the surface really helps fish this fly nicely across.
Shallow and riffle water can be productive because winter steelhead are ready to spawn as soon as they hit the river and have to move even in low water. They will use surface chop for cover. In a spot like this, an unweighted fly and lighter sink tip can be productive. Rob will concentrate on a zone where the riffle deepens towards the end of the run and also hit some pockets on the far bank.
In a spot like this, the water speed is really moving along fast. So I've got to be careful how I manage my swing by taking the angle of the line off the water so it's more parallel. So if I make that cast, this would have a lot of angle. This is more parallel. So adjusting the rod position and mending is going to be really important in here. And the other thing about the spot like this here, I want to fish from all the way across over here and swing it through this chop. So I'm going to start out up high. The water's really fast here, so I'm going to start out up high so that my first swing comes right down through just the tops of this of where it drops in a little deeper. So if I start short in here, I'm probably going to snag up. So I'm going to start out with a little bit more length of line in here so that I'm not snagging up, but I'm also not missing part of an important part of this run. The first cast in here, got almost all the head of the line out, of the Skagit head, but it's just enough to get me down below these rocks in here. Keep adding some line out until I'm reaching out and across. There's a nice slot over there I like to fish. Make my mend. The mend reduces the angle. With this current speed, that's really important. Slow down the swing speed. If the swing's too fast, that fly will be just under the surface. Occasionally a fish will come up and nail it for winter in the cold water time of year, but odds are he's not. So I've got to get that fly down. Keep adding some line out until I'm covering all the way across this span of water here. Big mend. Hold the rod, let it kind of straighten out. It's still swinging towards me right now. Nice and even, but I'm not moving the rod. Now I'm gently bringing it into the swing. Lower that rod position. The angle that I hold the rod at is what positions the fly line for the swing. That creates the swing speed. Nice smooth swing all the way across. Don't get in a hurry. The end of the swing is an important part. Add a little bit more line. Right at that rock. There we go. As it gets below me, a lot of times, because you're standing in the current, it creates a break in the current speed. And sometimes your fly or swing will stall out right there. Kind of anticipate that and nudge that fly line around with your rod tip so that it doesn't stall. Remember, we're trying to achieve a smooth, even swing speed all the way across the river. That nice slice across the river. Holding that rod out, reducing the angle of the line to the current. That's in a good spot right now. Now, if I don't make that adjustment, it'll swing right through that good spot too quickly. The fly will be right near the surface, and I'm just out here practicing my cast at that point.
Rob is practicing the subtle technique of leading the fly through this skinny water. It requires managing your swing with a very slow sweep of the rod, all the time being conscious of when to raise or lower your tip to ensure you get a constant swing speed.
It's easy to get in a hurry at this point here. Let that fly swing around. As long as I'm not getting into really soft water where I'm snagging up on the bottom, I'll let that fly come right on around. Now, one of the things that I think is really important is if your cast doesn't go out how you like it, pick it up and rethrow it. A lot of times if you just go ahead and fish that cast anyway, you'll end up snagging up, hitting the bottom, and you're not fishing effectively. A good straight line. That line straightens out. You can control where that fly is at, manage that swing speed, and be most effective even when it's cold water time of year. What do we got? Oh, we got the bottom. Okay, so it's starting to soften there a little bit. That just nudged right off of that rock. Now I'm going to change my approach a little bit. I want to get it deeper on that far side, so I'm going to step down after I make the cast. Now I'm going to step, mend again. Again, I'm doing the mend and hold. Hold that out there. Fly's still swinging. Just slow down the rate that it swings across a bit. Beautiful choppy top. Steelhead can be often in a lot shallower water. They're more comfortable because that lack of visibility in the water provides them some protection, so they feel less vulnerable. So when that water is high and slightly off color, you got that dark green color to it.
So working choppy water can be productive in both low and clear and high and off-colored water if you're fishing near the bank. This may demand an adjustment in your gear and some added patience to ensure you work the run thoroughly. In contrast to shallow water, deep pockets and pools can be the place to look for winter steelhead when things get especially cold. Another thing to keep in mind when the water is cold is that you may have to add weight to your fly and/or select a heavier sink tip.
And that allows us to get that fly down a little deeper, more easily. Fishing that fly in nice and deep. Now when the water is especially cold, this is the type of water that steelhead will often be found in. Those cold winter days, where the water is 34, 36, 38 degrees. Steelhead's metabolism slows down. They're going to be sitting in a little slower and deeper water. That's the type of stuff we want to be able to identify and key in on. What's different about winter steelhead versus summer steelhead is that winter steelhead come into rivers more or less sexually mature, so they are ready to spawn. So when they enter the river system, they're pretty much, ready to go. They're headed to their spawning beds, whereas summer steelhead in a lot of river systems, those fish are not ready to spawn until the following spring. So they'll come in August, September, October, even November, and those fish will stay in the river for a long period of time into late winter or early spring. So that means as those fish are moving up through the river system, they don't really have to be in a hurry. Now in contrast, our winter steelhead, they're ready. Like I said, they're ripe or sexually mature. The eggs on a hen steelhead will be large and ready, should be ready to spawn. And those fish pretty much need to get to their spawning areas. So even when the water is low and what may seem like impassable water conditions for us, the steelhead will still be working their way through, albeit slower than when the water is warmer. When the water is warmer during the winter months is typically when it rains. When you get a good rain that warms the water, typically adds some sediment to it, color to it. The clarity or visibility is generally greatly reduced when we have a good rainstorm. Kind of depends on what watershed you're on. Some drop and clear quickly, some keep a lot of green color to them for a long time. But the key is that steelhead move differently, comparing and contrasting summer steelhead to winter steelhead.
Getting deeper in the water column and fishing slower runs is essential in extremely cold water.
There we go. And it's a fish. There we go. Yeah. All right. That is a steelhead, my friends. Oh boy. That swing is the thing, let me tell you. Oh, that was great. Looks like a nice bright fish. Keep a good bend on the rod. Fairly light drag. Back up to a little shallower water so I can manage landing this thing a little better. Kind of look around, survey the situation here, see what I've got to. Really important to make sure they don't get wrapped up in a stick. And now he's thrashing around. Not exactly like that. All right, here we go. Get this guy. Get him in some clean water. If you got the water all mucked up like that, I want to get him in clean water. Get that hook out as quickly as I can. It should just pop out. There we go. All right. Let this guy go. There he goes. Yeah.